What's up, guys? Welcome to Via Talk, brought to you by Via Guatemala Coffee.
Via Guatemala Coffee.
And,
I love it.
I'm with Paul McCray, and he is with Sync Law. And we are going to talk to you about insurance. We're going to talk to you about real estate. We're going to talk about some lawyer stuff, some laws, rules, regulations, and just, family, love, life, all of that. So go ahead.
I got my Sync Law logo shirt on right now. I got to bring you in some swag. We've got a bunch of, I forgot to bring it, like my fur coat. I also forgot to bring that. But I will bring you in some Yetis that we have with the Sync Law logo on it and everything. It's a big hit with with our friends and family. So
that's what I need when I go to Whole Foods, because I be going to Whole Foods looking like a homeless person. So if I throw that Sync Law on, I'll up my swag.
It might. I don't know. Not like the fur coat, but it'll help. It might help.
Okay, So tell us a little bit. What do you do exactly at Sync Law? And tell us a little bit more about that.
So I got in the mortgage business in 1998 as a retail residential loan officer.
Okay.
So I was an originator for a company called Green Park Mortgage back in 98. And then I got into the wholesale market where my clients became the loan officers. And I was working for the bank. It was a subprime lender.
Okay.
And it was Fremont Investment and Loans. And as everybody knows, the subprime market crashed.
Right.
When that happened, I joined up with a real estate law firm, Nigerian and Associates, back in 2008-ish. And I was there almost 10 years.
Now, are you a lawyer?
No.
Okay.
No. So I am the director of business development.
Okay.
So I create the relationships with all of the loan officers, lenders, real estate agents. We represent buyers and sellers in all of their home transactions, if you're buying, selling, or refinancing. So my job is to create the relationships with the people that can bring us that business. And the people that do bring us the business, make sure they're still happy to keep sending us the business. So it's client retention, education, continuing education classes we offer for real estate agents, because you have to get your CE credits every year. I think you need 6. So we help provide that outlet for those real estate agents where we bring in an educator and then they sit for a 2-hour class, and we provide lunch and drinks and refreshments for them to make it tolerable when you're sitting there for 2 hours. But that's my job. I'm business development, director of business development.
So because I'm not super educated, I wrote down a whole bunch of notes, right? So
okay.
I wanted to know, there's a few questions that I wanted to ask, and not just for me, because you have to think that a lot of people, one of the things I sent you earlier is, there's a big rise now, finally, just newer people, the newer generation buying houses, and there's a lot of things that they don't know or understand, right? Mm-hmm. So, especially, minorities, and just tell us some things so what is title insurance?
Oh, God.
Why is it needed? What is what is the most expensive item in closing costs when closing? And what is the actual point of a lawyer in a transaction of real estate? How did this business within real estate even come?
So as a real estate law firm, you need to have an IOLTA account. So that's the money that comes from the bank that comes into your office that then goes to the seller for his proceeds and then finance the new mortgage.
Oh, wow.
So you have to have an IOLTA account. You have to be a real estate attorney in order to open up an IOLTA account.
So someone who is a first-time home buyer, they need to find a real estate attorney,
a real estate law firm, correct?
That has.
Well, they all will.
They all will have the IOTA account,
right? But you just need to find someone that's going to mix and gel well with the client. I do a lot of business with people. We know a lot of the same people.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all very similar. So I think that environment creates more business, because you can trust somebody in the business that you're very similar to. So the referral will come from a real estate agent. If you're going to go buy a house and you have a buyer's real estate agent, and he takes you around for 6 months looking at houses. Well, once you find that property, that real estate agent that I've been cultivating hopefully for the last 20 years of my life doing this.
It's going to send you business.
They'll send us as a recommendation. We're not always going to be the first one, but usually they'll recommend 2 or 3 that they think will best fit your needs and your schedule. I mean, and whatever you really need when you're trying to find that first home.
So do you guys also provide title insurance?
Yes. So title insurance is required when you have a mortgage.
Okay.
So it's when there's lender's title insurance and then there's owner's title insurance. So the owner's title insurance protects your interest in the property up to the purchase price.
Okay.
And then it increases throughout the years with the property value going up.
Oh, okay.
And it protects you up to that value.
Okay.
The lender's title insurance protects the lender only to the loan amount. So there could always be a gap. If you're putting 20% down, say, on a $400,000 house, there's an $80,000 gap that you're not protected in. And if there's ever a cloud on title or a title insurance issue where there could be a missing discharge of an old mortgage, something from a prior lender that was never cleared up when they either refinanced or bought or sold their property, we come in there and we try to clear
this
title.
This is when sync law comes in.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
it happens a lot more than you think.
Really?
But the owner's title insurance policy protects you and your interest in that property, where the title insurance company will pay for any type of maybe legal services that are needed to clear that title.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this, and I'm glad that
It's super boring, but
it's needed.
It's needed.
No, and this is why we're having this conversation, honestly, because I come from a generation where, I wasn't born in this country, just like a lot of people. And just we have, especially, as you know, in Massachusetts, so many immigrants. And
even just the laws
alone. And things are constantly changing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we just need to have this type of information out there. But I'm glad that we're talking about just even so what do you think and how do you feel, since you said now that you're running the business aspect, I feel a little bit, and now you can tell me what you feel because I'm going to say how I feel. I just feel like social media kind of made real estate a little bit trashy. It's a little bit kind of like I just always felt like real estate agents should be in that whole world. Like you said, there's lawyers involved and all this should be kind of held at a higher standard. And social media has made it so kind of trashy. Like you got real estate agents on TikTok.
And inundated.
Yes. So how do you feel about, now this is just my opinion from the outside looking in. How do you feel you're in the world and you're running a business aspect based around all of real estate? How do you feel that social media has kind of affected, and how do you feel what is a better tactic, say, for a new agent to come in to do real estate? To do social media? Well,
I think there's a whole bunch of different aspects of that question, but there's totally way too many memes about real estate agents about the business.
Right.
And there's so many voiceovers and dramatical acting over TikTok and Instagram. What I try to do is the posts that I create, because a part of what I do is also social media for the company.
No, but I've seen your social media. I think you do a great job. I like it. What I say is I don't like the tackiness that some of these real estate agents or companies do. You'll see them they
act as a buyer or act as a seller, and they're ranking on their own clients at the same time.
Or you'll see a woman putting on her lipstick and be like, "This is my fit for the real estate."
Exactly.
Things that just aren't necessary. And it's are you trying to sell yourself or a home? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like you said, which I think is awesome, you build relationships, and some of the greatest real estate agents that I know don't even really do social media because everything is based off relationships and referrals.
Right.
So to me, I just feel like when I'm seeing this as somebody who's in the, let's face it, even though I own businesses, in a sense, I am an entertainer, right? So I entertain, but to me, there's just certain things that you shouldn't be an entertainer, and that has to, that's real estate. You keep it where I want to see the property, show me a drone footage, keep it professional. But some of the shit that I'm seeing right now, I'm like, what is this?
What I like to do is try to concentrate on the things that we're doing and the things that we've done and the things that we're going to do. So we're opening up new states, and I always try to make new announcements about the positive stuff.
Right.
I don't concentrate on any of the negative. There's enough negativity out there where I don't need to put up a post about, the buyer's been... I've been driving a buyer around for a year and a half and they can't find a house. That doesn't play well on you as a real estate agent. Maybe you don't know what their actual needs are.
Right.
There's a reason why. There's a lot of competition out there too because there's no inventory.
I was just going to ask you too, though. Do you feel as though the real estate agency in the market, I feel like it's a little bit oversaturated too. Anybody and everybody is trying to...
Those numbers are coming down.
Oh, are they?
They're coming down big time right now.
Tell me why.
Because a lot of people get into the real estate business thinking it's all glamour.
This is what I'm saying. And that's what they're doing on social media.
Right.
And it's like...
Well, here's another thing about that, though.
It's
if
cringe.
you're out of sight, you're out of mind. Mm-hmm. So you have to do something to stay on everyone's mind. As a business developer yourself, you do. Got to stay on people's minds.
That's true.
You got to remind them that you're here and remind them the product that you have and remind them how great you are and remind them about other people that have talked about how great you are too. So Sync Law, we take pride. We are the number one highest ranked, most reviewed real estate law firm in Massachusetts on Google.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Since 2018.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, so that we take a lot of pride in that. So you can't get there by the gimmicky posts and
that's what
and the silliness.
Yeah.
You just build your brand on how great you are, because in our business, we're the last person to touch the deal.
Right.
So you're only as good as your last deal.
Right.
So if they walk away from that table, they're not going to give you a good review.
Right.
And they're not going to come back when they want to sell it after they bought it in 2 years or 3 years or 5 years or whatever it is.
Right.
So it's client retention. It's building that relationship, and you just can't get there by doing all the gimmicky things. Maybe you'll get 1,000 likes and you'll get 15,000 views. But you know what? How many deals is it at the end of the day?
Right.
How many deals is it?
And that's what I was saying to
You can feel great about 39,000 views on your reel.
Right.
But I only got 6 deals out of it.
Right.
That's not enough.
But let's talk about that even. I try to tell people too, especially people who are trying to start their own business, or they're like, oh, you have such a huge social media following. I'm like, don't pay attention to that. And I always tell people, if I can even get 1% of my social media following to buy coffee, I'll be good. Like everybody, like even this will be a great informative information. And my whole point is obviously to meet great people like yourselves and to inform people, because a lot of people don't know. But how many people are going to really click and subscribe afterwards? How many people are going to go and buy coffee afterwards? So we're still providing a service because we're passionate about what we do. But at the same time, we're living in a very nosy, I want to just see, but I don't know if I want to do and take action.
And right now, too. That's a right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because your story leaves in 24 hours.
Exactly, because everything's like da-da-da-da-da.
I'm wondering, we're going to forget that story tomorrow because I can't see it again.
Right.
So you got to constantly, you do a good job at that, but you got to constantly be threading that story into the next day.
Exactly.
And it's not, it's got to be in a way where people are like, okay, you know what? That's the person I want to buy my coffee from. That's the person I want to do my closing.
Yeah.
If you're doing the gimmicky things just for likes and views, it's maybe not the right thing. So a lot of real estate agents, I think, fall to that, and they're not doing well. And I think that's why
so many
they're
are falling
getting out
off.
of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, because they try to come in as a gimmick. And
they heard 2000, 2001, 2021, 22 was the biggest real estate year boom in 15 years.
Right.
You're like, oh, I can do that. I want to go do that. But then guess what? You only have your aunt and your sister-in-law. And that's 2 deals in a year. What's not you got to really build that brand, and you got to get out there and make it a full-time job.
Yeah.
Some people just get in it for family and friends, and that doesn't pay the bills.
Right.
And no matter how many likes or views you get.
Right.
So you just got to be knowledgeable, share that knowledge, become a leader in the industry, become somebody that can educate somebody in the same business, and teach them, everything they need to know about getting into the homeowner's business or getting into home buying,
So how do you feel? So my next question I want to ask you, and I sent you the link. How do you feel about the Apple Vision Pro, or just
I love it,
or just AI in general? How do you feel? To me, honestly, I feel like.
I think it's going to put people out of business.
That's what I was just about to say. I believe that AI and the Apple Vision Pro, what is the point of me having a real estate agent when I can just see things online? I think that industry is going to be obsolete. So, and what do you feel about being a lawyer? Are you inferior with ChatGPT or things like that? Are you inferior that you might even lose your job, or what you do in
No,
Sync Law?
Because you still have to have a lawyer in Massachusetts, because it's an attorney state.
Okay.
Some states are not attorney states. New Hampshire's not an attorney state.
So they could lose their jobs to an chat or AI or something?
To a title company, because you can just have a title company to provide title insurance, but not be a lawyer in that state.
Oh.
So New Hampshire, Maine, 2 states not attorney states.
Wow.
Rhode Island just became one.
Oh, okay.
So Steve Gutturro, shout out to Steve in my office, he's studied today, tomorrow, and he's taking the bar in Rhode Island on Wednesday because we're opening up Rhode Island.
Oh, Rhode Island office.
Now, we just opened up Pennsylvania non-attorney state, but we opened up a title company there.
Oh, wow.
But you can't have the word title in your law firm
right.
in Pennsylvania.
Well, that was another question I was going to ask you.
There's quirky laws in every state, when it comes to attorney states and non-attorney states.
Every state, the title insurance is based on the loan amount. Why not the set amount?
Well, no. So there's two types of insurance. Don't forget, there's lender's title insurance and owners.
Owners, okay.
Yeah. So the owners protects you up to the purchase price. The lender's insurance protects you only to the loan amount.
Ah, okay.
So you there's a gap there that could be.
But why in different
risk.
states, depending on?
No, that's pretty much every state.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
okay,
it is. Not just
okay.
Massachusetts. There's lender's insurance and owner's insurance in every state.
So Massachusetts, basically, I also sent you this link, just in case you guys don't know. I'm gonna actually pull up the link.
The rent.
We can actually read it. So the monthly rent for a 1-bedroom apartment in cities around the world. Okay.
In the world. That.
Sydney is 2,181. Hong Kong 2,252. Los Angeles 2,062. Miami 2,811.
Keep going.
London 2,854. Zurich 2,869, Singapore 3,002, Boston 3,101, and then San Francisco 3,344, and then New York is number 1, 4,074, whatever. So how is it for you knowing that you see that, right? So here we are in Boston, and here business must be first.
Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, business. No wonder why is must be amazing in real estate, but at the same time, right? How has luxury apartment living what has that done to the real estate
We're
market?
in a weird, mediocre level right now. It's like a Mendoza level. Where, so the inventory is so low and the rates are above 5.875 right now. They're teetering on 6, 6, and 8.
When he says inventory, he's talking about the houses.
The housing market,
exactly.
yes.
Not everybody's looking for a house, but there's just not enough, right?
Correct.
So that's what he means by inventory.
So there's a battle going on for, 100 people going to an open house for one house.
Wow.
So if you have a right priced house, you can get a police detail out front directing traffic because you get 80 to 100 people looking at a property.
That's insane.
It is. But so if it's priced right, you'll get that traffic, but it's only one house for 100 people.
Right.
So where are these people going to go? They're going to go, by the way, that 3,801.
That's just for 1 bedroom though.
And that's the average.
That's the average, right?
That's the average. I saw a studio in Quincy Center, $2,875 a month for a studio.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this though.
So how do you afford that?
Right. How do you afford that, right?
I don't know.
Exactly. And then my next question is so how do you guys work with luxury apartment buildings or how does that even work?
So a lot of those, a lot of real estate agents will market those properties,
but you have nothing to do with it.
No,
because they're owned by Toll Brothers or
so the real estate agent will target a building and put out their flyers and say, hey, why are you paying $3,800 a month as a renter with zero? Because you know what rent is? What's the interest rate on rent?
I don't even know.
100%.
Oh yeah,
it's all
obviously
rent.
it's all rent.
It's 100%.
Right,
so
right. And you're gonna get nothing in return.
Zero.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna buy a house at 6%, now you have equity and you're building generational wealth. You can, you're building.
And so I'm glad that you said that. So
those people will market those. I think the smart real estate agents that are experienced and veterans and seasoned, they'll when times are like this, they're crazy not to market a whole entire building and say, hey, listen, why are you paying $3,800 a month?
Real estate agents, did you guys listen to real estate agents?
That's my free tip right there.
Exactly. Y'all better go to these luxury apartment buildings and be like, here you go, here you go.
I have 8 listings that you can buy a home at and your mortgage payment will be $2,500.
And let me give you another little
and then get roommates.
Right. And then let me give you another little gem. If you really don't know, be like, well, what am I supposed to do to even get into these luxury apartment buildings? Call up the manager, see if you can have a meeting. And I would even suggest renting out the room and even saying and doing a whole seminar for anybody tenants there.
Yep.
So that's a whole other gem. If you got to think outside the box, how can I sell? You're here to sell, right? So ask property manager. They always have nice things that you can rent out, like lounges. Like I do a lot of events in the lounges.
In the lobbies, off the lobbies. Yep.
Say I'd like to do a seminar, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you don't even gotta. I mean, obviously, it's within the best interest of the property manager for them to stay there, but at the same time, you.
Oh, there's not going to be any. They're not going to suffer
So,
because
yeah,
when someone
exactly.
moves out, there's 18 people waiting
So
to move
let me
in.
ask you this: what do you think that luxury apartment buildings? What do you think it's done to the urban areas, like say Lynn, like say Springfield?
I think it's been great.
You have you? So what do you think?
Look at Everett.
No,
I mean,
with the casino, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel you're right. It's great, but what about the people who really they couldn't even afford in the first place there? So,
Yeah.
what do you think is going to be? How do we do fair housing, and how do we make it?
We need more of it.
We need more of it. So we
More
got
of
to
it.
keep building luxury
Yeah.
apartment
So
buildings.
like the 600 went up in Everett.
Yeah.
With Evo,
Yep.
they increased the amount of affordable housing to 15%.
Okay, so
From
now
12.
is that a law? I heard that's a law. So for every luxury apartment
There
building,
has to be a certain
there has
percentage
to be
of-
a certain percentage of
Absolutely.
and that
Affordable.
means people with Section 8 can be in there.
Yep. Fixed income.
Fixed income.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys hear this. So if you're like, oh my God, because like he said, there's such a shortage of homes, or there's just even such a. This is why, if you're wondering, like, why is Lynn? Like, because I'm around Lynn. I live in Swampscott now, but I'm from Lynn. My studio's there, and I just see like literally, it's like we're jammed up now, building after building, luxury apartment after luxury apartment, and I'm like, who the hell wants to live on Union Street, right? But they're making it
Right.
luxury, right?
Right.
And obviously, it's managed by Greystar, right? So like they're putting these really cool amenities in it, but again, like, so if you guys make sure you guys apply for housing, or how do they even do that? How do some people
You
do
can
that?
go through the city of Boston. There's grants. There's down payment assistance. If you're going to get into instead of renting, you can get into a purchase situation where you can. They have forgivable
Okay, let's talk
grants.
about that. So, yeah, so first time buyer, what do we do for that?
I would look into every single program available: VA, FHA, 0% down, 3% down. There's government grants. There's zip code programs out there. So if you live in a certain zip code, you can qualify for other programs that aren't available in certain other areas. Yeah. So there's a million different programs. I just say do your research. Talk to your loan officer. Your loan officer is going to know a lot about every single program out there available.
And I'm sure there's programs for minorities, women, right? Things like that.
I don't know that I don't know the answer to that
Okay,
question, but
okay.
I do know that there's zip code programs out there.
Okay.
There's income programs out there where if you fall into a certain bracket of income,
Okay.
combined household income, individual household income.
Okay.
There's non-co-borrower programs out. I mean, non-resident co-borrowers. So like if I wanted to buy a house and my father wanted to co-sign for me, he could do that and help with the down payment, and he doesn't have to live there.
Oh wow!
There's
So this
gifts.
is a new thing?
No, this is all available. You just got to do your research.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, so the best.
There's gifts. You can get a gift letter from a relative, and they can help you with the down payment. You don't have to pay them back.
Ladies, you got a sugar daddy. You got a sugar daddy. Be like, Daddy, I need a gift.
Yep, you can do that. You can get gift letters. You have to be related.
Oh, damn.
You gotta be related.
Go to City Hall for a day. Call it
Yeah.
a day. Okay, so
But there's so many. Your loan officer, your qualified, certified, loan officer will have all the information that you need and get you in any program that you can qualify for. The best, the cheapest, and the easiest program out there.
okay, so I have other questions. So
Just
then
trust your loan officer. That's what I would
trust
say.
your loan officer, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let me see what else.
And
okay.
if anybody needed a referral or recommendation for a loan officer, I've been doing this 20 years, and I've created so many relationships out there. If you just wanted to, by area or whatever, you just let me know, and
Hold
I
on.
can put you in touch with
your
somebody.
talk. How do we reach you?
Oh, my cell phone, 781-413-1089.
It's like getting a text like, hold on.
Synclaw.com. Synclaw.com has everything.
Okay, so wholesaling. Do you not need a real estate license for that?
You do not.
Okay, so tell a little people that that's a hustle.
It is.
All right, so I'm trying to help y'all. You know what I mean? All my trap stars out there, I'm trying to help y'all. What is wholesale in the real estate industry?
So every 2 weeks, I sit on a panel at a company called Dovetail Mortgage in Braintree. And every 2 weeks, we bring in developers and wholesalers that are trying to get into the fix and flip business.
Fix and flip. Okay, listen.
We show them how to open up an LLC,
Okay.
and we show them how to find a deal that they can sell without even owning the property.
Wow.
So you can-
guys, this is gems. Are you guys
Wholesale is
listening?
flip paper. Flipping paper is flipping the contract. So you go to a seller, usually off market, if you
Yep.
can find them, because
Yep.
those are the real hustlers.
Yep.
You find the off market deals, and you say, "I'll buy the house for $280,000." They say, "Okay, we'll take it."
Yep.
Might be distressed, might be vacant, might be a tear down,
Yep.
might be just roof and landscaping. You never know what you're going to get into, but you come up with a price with the seller, and then you say, "Okay, I can sell this contract. I just put $1,000 down to buy the house for $280,000, but I got a guy behind me that wants me to find these houses, and he's going to pay $315,000. So you're going to make $35,000
Wow.
in 30 days.
So you guys, you hear this?
That's wholesaling, flipping the paper.
Wholesaling, flipping the paper.
You find the deal, and then you sell it to the person that wants to do the work, the general contractor,
the one who's going to flip it, the
flipper.
investor.
Yep.
Wow. So you guys, come on. Like, there's a million hustles out there.
I saw the biggest one I've ever seen was $135,000, and he made it in 30 days because he found the deal and he flipped it that day of closing. He made $135,000 in an hour
All from flipping the paper.
just from flipping the contract to one other person. But we also, so what Sync Law does is we also think outside the box. So when I came in 2018, I brought in my developer clientele.
Okay.
So Sync Law wasn't very familiar with wholesaling. So we're doing assignment of contracts, double assignments. We do things called doubleclose.com where the seller isn't aware of the A to B, B to C.
Yeah.
So the guy that got the deal in the beginning is going to sell it in the back. It's called doubleclose.com. You can keep that transaction separate from the first transaction, and it's the same property in one day.
I like scandals.
No, but it's totally legitimate. It's totally legitimate. You can there's 2 deeds in one day.
That's crazy.
It's called wholesaling. Yeah.
Wow, there's so many hustles.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
biggest one I ever saw was $135,000. I have one in my pipeline right now for $210,000, and the lender is giving us a problem about it because it's way too much money to make in an hour.
Right, in an hour. That's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, what does someone need to do to be a wholesaling? Basically, someone just needs to have a lot of basic
Hustle.
social capital. They need to know, right? In a sense, like you can't just be like, "Oh, I'm going to go drive through the streets." Like, don't you kind of have to have some type of network?
Redfin is a big, great app for that.
What is it?
Redfin.
What's Redfin? Tell people.
Redfin is like Zillow. It's like it's a real estate company.
Okay.
And they have listings. You can go to redfin.com. You can download the Redfin app, and you can just scroll properties. And if you see one you like, you can call them up. You put a down payment on it, and then just flip it. You flip the paper.
Wow.
Yeah, Redfin's a great tool for new wholesalers, veteran wholesalers. A lot of my veteran wholesalers use Redfin.
Okay, you guys hearing this? Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so now
You just got to hustle. You got to
Exactly,
find the
of
deal.
course.
You
You
got to
gotta
send
hustle,
flyers.
hustle.
You got to door knock. A lot of people door knock. There's a great website out there too. You can check on that. You can find out if LLCs own the property. So
let's get into LLCs real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So, because as you know, in the state of Massachusetts, now that you own an LLC, you have to report all of your
as you have to be the primary owner.
right, and
That just started January 2024.
Exactly, and I feel like that happened because of the pandemic. Everyone was opening up LLC, but didn't even know what they were doing with that, right? But my question to you is it true? How do you open up an LLC? How do you get an LLC and buy the property through your company, not through you? And what are the benefits to that?
So if you're going to be a developer and you're going to be fixing flipping properties,
Yep.
99% of the developers go through hard money lenders,
Okay.
short-term financing. They give you a 12-month mortgage because they know you're going to flip the property.
Okay.
So most developers have a 12-month window. They say, okay, we're going to gut the property. We're going to get in there. We're going to renovate it. And we're going to put it on the market. And we're going to sell it within 12 months. They like to get it on the market in 8 so they can have it on the market for 4 if they needed to because they got to pay the mortgage on that for only 12 months. So you have to have an exit strategy.
Oh, so you create the LLC so you don't have
The lender
direct
requires
ownership to it.
Correct,
So,
for liability.
And liability because you're doing all this construction and everything.
Yep.
But what if, let's just say, you don't have
Well, it's also because if the deal goes south, the hard money lender can foreclose on an LLC easier and faster than it can close on an individual because Massachusetts is a judicial state.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So
all right.
all the hard money lenders that I do business with they require you to close it in an LLC. Most people just open up an individual LLC for each property.
Right.
And then they dissolve it after.
Dissolve it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they usually, the name of the LLC is usually whatever the property address is. 123 Main Street LLC. So they can keep them all separate, because a lot of the guys I do business with, they do, 4 or 5 at a time.
Okay.
So it's an easier way for them to keep track of it.
Can't you individually, let's just say, I don't know, me and you, we're married, and can we just have a company of our, say, real estate portfolio, and we just have an LLC, and so we don't ever own the houses, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the benefits to that? Say we're not flipping, say we just create like a LLC and we buy properties under that. What is the benefit to that?
One of the major benefits is the LLCs don't show up on your credit report.
Oh.
If you own a property in an LLC, it doesn't show up on your credit report.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's not a personal liability, it's a business liability.
Okay.
So that's number one. And then number two is it comes to, getting sued.
Right.
You can sue the business, it's not going to sue you.
Right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So let's get into, I thank you so much for being here also too. But
Thanks for having me.
let's talk about, tell me a little bit about your podcast show, and tell me about the cease and desist situation.
Oh boy. So I had a show, Save It for the Mic, for years. And I got a letter from an attorney in Texas one day. There were 2 kids down in Texas. They had the same name of the show, Save It for the Mic, but they trademarked it. But I was under the radar for so long until I started getting listeners. So if I get like 8,500 listeners, all of a sudden I was on the map. Yeah, it was getting passed around. And then for whatever reason, I got the cease and desist.
How old were the kids?
I have no idea.
Oh, I would have been pissed.
No, I have no idea. I just stopped it, and they made me take all the shows down. But you can still find them if you dig. If you dig deep enough.
So what's the other show about?
The other one, I haven't even posted it yet. It's a new one. It's called He Said, He Said. Instead of like He Said, She Said.
Yeah.
One of our good friends, Nick, is he's a gay guy. And I'm not. But I'm trying to learn from him, and he's trying to learn from me.
Yeah.
So it's He Said, He Said. So we talk about his point of view on topics and my point of view on topics and what's going on in this crazy goddamn world right now,
How do you feel about and you don't have to answer this, but how do you feel about like this whole like trans and like, or this whole they them thing? Like, how do you feel about that?
So that's a part of the show, because he's teaching me on all of this stuff
but
about the pronoun.
How do you feel about that?
I'm learning. I didn't know. I don't know if they wanted me to call it a they or a them. I just that I don't know. Because if I say, they're coming over, now you're a there.
I'm saying it on the record.
Right.
I'm calling you what your mama pushed out of you.
Right.
Okay.
This is what I will say.
There's an X chromosome, there's a Y chromosome,
Yep.
and I don't care who you want to be. I want to be a rich bitch, and that ain't happening yet. So I'm just saying, I'm gonna call you by your birth name.
Yep.
You can have sex with a unicorn for all I care. It doesn't matter to me your sexual orientation. But this whole my only thing I don't like about what's happening right now is you're not out here in this world forcing love me. I'm Paul McCray. Love me, love me, love me. I'm a straight man. Love me. And I'm not out here in this world love me, love me, love me. Right? I don't care. You don't like me. I just don't like the whole pushing it down my enough.
Right.
I don't care what you do.
Right.
Good for you.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
But I also get upset when I hear about children.
Don't get me started on that.
The human brain doesn't develop.
Do it till you're 25 years old.
It doesn't develop till you're 25 years old.
No, do not even go there
Right.
with me. And do you know that not in Massachusetts, I think in California, there's certain states where a child doesn't even need permission to get their say their breast or something removed. If they identify and they feel that way, they can tell the doctor, and they can basically, in a sense, not emancipate themselves, but basically advocate for themselves and say, this is what I want to do. And to me, that's insane. I can't even, because imagine if you and I went to the doctor and said, no, I want my left arm cut off. I don't care. I just don't want it. I don't identify. They're going to put us in a mental home.
Yep.
Right? So it's crazy to me. Don't even get me started on that topic, because I'm sorry. And Lynn right now, I don't know if you saw it in the news, but
you started me on that topic.
No, I know.
Don't even stop.
No, but in Lynn, it's the what school? Anyway, they have a boy on the basketball team. That makes me livid, because
on the girls' basketball team?
Yes, they have a boy, and they were playing Kip Academy, and they were playing another girls' team, and the boy hurt one of the girls, and the other girls walked off and to me, that's a whole other thing. I'm sorry, maybe your son just wasn't good enough to play on the boys' team. Enough of that.
If LeBron James
ever try to play in the WNBA,
he would score 1,000 points.
It's unfair.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so stupid to me. Like, oh, make it all go away. Okay, we can get off that subject.
All
But
right.
so I'll tell you. So my cease and desist. And by the way, you guys. So if tell people, since you in the law, what does cease and desist mean? Tell people.
You can't no longer operate as the way you were operating. You got to shut it down.
You got to shut it down.
Cease and desist. Shut it down.
Okay.
No more operating under that name, period.
Okay.
Or you will be sued.
And there's different entities in that, correct? No, like different cease and desist, and like say it was, I don't know, you were selling products, you'd have to cease and desist in that. But because you had a podcast and the same thing as them, you have to cease and desist in that, right?
I just under that name.
Okay,
Under that
but even
name.
if you had apparel too, say under that name, you had to stop it.
I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
I don't.
So then the next thing,
Because I didn't have anything under it. I only had that one name. So
okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about trademarks, and I keep telling people and I keep advocating, like, we talked about this in another show. Like, everybody thinks because they're on social media too that they're a brand, right? It's so annoying. You're not a brand, right? Because you have to go through legal channels, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to. What's your product? What's your name? One of them is trademark, right?
Yep.
And these young boys that he was talking about were able to send that cease and desist letter
Mm-hmm.
because they were trademarked and he wasn't. And
Right.
the irony, you work for
I
Sync
know.
Law. And
Well, you know what's funny too? Is Sync Law is trademarked. It's called Live Life Law. And that's our logo, Live Life Law. So we have
The trademark.
It's trademarked.
That's
It's
so
trademarked.
funny.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the tagline is trademarked, or the whole Sync Law is trademarked.
No, just Live Life Law.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So we had another entity underneath us to operate in non-attorney states. It was called Tidal Wave. And we got a cease and desist on Tidal Wave because one of our title insurance companies owns that trademark called Tidal Wave. So it used to be on the bottom of our emails. We had to get rid of that probably just about a year ago.
Oh my God. See?
So you got to know.
You got to know these things, especially if you have a brand or you have a product, you have a name and you stand by it, trademark it,
Yep.
and proper channels to do that. And let me just tell you my quick story with my
Via.
yeah. So there's a building that went up, and I'm sure everybody, if you guys know, in Boston, called Via. Right now, this was happening maybe like now I had trademarked Via's World in 2000. I want to say in like 14, 15. The building started going up around that time, and I kept taking pictures of it. And they're like, are you ready to live in the Via? Are you ready to be in the Via? I went to the ribbon cutting and everything. I researched Warren Buffett owns it, right? Now, what happened was when they put up the actual building, the logo looked identical to mine. I said, oh, hell no, right? Because this is my logo. So what happened was basically whoever they hired to be the graphic designer must have seen somehow my logo, because, you know, I'm very active on social media. I've always been. And they must have been like, oh, yeah, like Big Bang Takes Little Bang, like, who is she? And they just went and literally stole my exact logo, just about, right?
Crazy.
And mind you, it's on the building. So I even went to, and at this time though, the Via building was selling, they were doing events under Via. They were selling like champagne bottles. They were selling apparel under Via. So
The logo was on all their...
everything.
Yeah, all their swag.
I went to the ribbon cutting. Then I called and I was like, hey, I'd like to do a tour. They gave me the t-shirt, the Via. They gave me the sunglasses, the Via.
Really?
And I'm like, oh, this is great, right? I'm taking pictures of everything, right? So anyway, I reached out to my lawyer. It took about 2 years. And we did a cease and desist. So they had to, because my name Via is trademarked under model, entertainment, entrepreneur, and apparel. So you can't, like, it's like trademarked under all those
Covered it all.
entities. So that's another thing, guys. If you don't know about trademarks, there's several entities you can trademark things under. So it can be trademarked under A, B, C, D, and E. But you have to apply for each one. So anyway, they were trying to go to court with me, and basically the judge was in my favor. I didn't get to win anything, but bottom line was I did ask. I said, listen, why don't you guys let me have retail space? My name is Via. It makes sense because it's retail. But they were so pissed that I already came at them. They were like livid at me. And bottom line is that they weren't allowed anymore to do their apparel, whatever. And because their logo on their building was already there, they didn't have to change that, but their walk-in rug, they had to change.
Wow.
And so I did a cease and desist on their logo. So I sued them for trademark infringement.
Yep.
And it's a big deal. Like, so you can look it up online because it's public. So, you know, I try to tell this story because here I am. Warren Buffett owns owns that building. Now that's his company. Now, mind you, if there was Via buildings all over the country, I could be like, oh, it could be a coincidence. But there's only one Via building. It's in Boston.
Right.
And that's what I'm known for. Like, enough. So, and that's a small, even though I didn't get any money out of it. It was a victory for me just because I try to really preach the importance of owning your name, owning your brand. You know what I mean? That's so important. So, yeah. Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you feel about, like, what is the advice that you can give right now, like, even for your own daughters about, like, real estate and, like, how to, like,
oh, gosh. I don't know. I mean, I think, one of the biggest things that you can do for generational wealth is real estate.
Of course.
I mean, it's just history is it's a fact.
Right.
I mean, the values of properties have gone up 125% in the last 15 years.
So what does someone do if there's not enough, again, inventory, guys, means houses? Do you suggest that we buy in other states? Like, what do we do now?
Everything, this whole real estate goes in cycles. It's like a roller coaster.
So do you feel like you project there's going to be a crash?
You know what? No one knows. No one. I mean, I've listened to thousands of financial, experts that in the real estate world. You can listen to anybody in the real estate market that thinks they know. No one knows. The only thing I look at is the unemployment. If unemployment is down, we're going to be fine. I mean, inflation is inflation, but I think people forget that it was the minimum wage was $7.50 in 2021, right? And it went up to it doubled.
Yeah, so I remember because I lived on housing, by the way. I was on welfare and housing, and I remember I was like, wait, you want me to get a job for $7 an hour? No, honey.
Right.
I'm going to do something else.
But I think inflation had a big part of, and again, I'm not a professional. I've been in this business 20 years. I don't claim to be an expert, and I can't stand it when other people claim to be experts.
Oh, what's his name? Who's the guy who's really big on Instagram who sells you all this real estate stuff?
Gary V?
Yeah. No, wait.
Gary V is one of the big ones. Well, he's more motivational, but he's a real estate guy.
Not Gary V. Him and his wife, they do like seminars.
I try to stay away from all that because I think it's a money grab.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like
I'm
gimmicky.
not going to spend $200 to go to a class I could teach because no one is more of an expert than the other guy that's been in this business for just as long. We've seen it all. It's just, you just got to ride it out. Just got to ride it out. Rates were down the twos. They're going up. We bought our first house, rate was 8.675. That was a bargain. And that was 2001.
What are the rates right now?
I saw today 5.875 on a 30-year fixed, paying a point. A point is 1% of your loan amount. So if you bought a $400,000 house, you paid an extra $4,000, you can get a rate in the fives for a 30-year fixed. Okay. If you don't get in an ARM right now, I think you're crazy. But talk to your loan officer. If you don't get in a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage at 5.25%, you are crazy because eventually everything goes down again. It will. It's eventually going to come back down. And then it's going to go back up. We've been in this since the Reagan administration, I remember.
Yeah.
Gas was 89 cents a gallon. And when there was a gas shortage, there were lines up and down the street. I remember as a kid. Everyone had to go get gas on Tuesday because they were having a 5-cent special. And there was, a mile long of traffic getting in gas. But
stop aging yourself.
I know. But then gas goes up.
Not the 5-cent special.
But gas went up to $4.95.
Yeah.
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, remember that?
$4.50.
And I have a truck. I was like, what is this?
$4.95.
I was like, oh, I can't see you tonight,
but today,
honey.
I drive by gas stations. I treat it like the real estate market. They go up and they go down. And I'll find the right deal. Today I got it for $2.85. And I passed 5 gas stations after that. And I said winning because that was the cheapest one I found on the all right here.
I love that.
Yeah. I said, if I'm saving 5 cents a gallon, why not do it? That's like, I treat that like as an adjustable rate mortgage. Get it, marry the house, date the rate.
You guys hear this? Marry the house.
Marry the house. You love the house. The rates are going to come down.
Date the rate. I love that.
I think if you don't, and again, I'm not an expert, but I've been in this business 20 years, and I've seen the highs and the lows. And I think right now is a good avenue. If you're getting an adjustable rate mortgage, you marry the house.
Okay, so say I see a house. It's going for $650,000, right? Mm-hmm. How much realistically should I be putting down?
Whatever you can afford. It's up to the individual.
Okay.
I would say, in my opinion,
20, 30,000.
keep your money in the bank.
Really?
Let your money work for you. Let the bank finance the rest. That's what I say. You can get a 3% down. Why wouldn't you?
Wow.
Use the extra money. You can buy the 85-inch screen TV. You can update the faucets. You can add equity to your property. You can do the floors. You can do the countertops. You can do anything else with that money. Let that money work for you in that property. Don't just give it to the bank.
Oh, okay. That's great advice. You guys hear that? So instead
again, that's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying though, because
keep your own money. Why are you going to give it to the bank?
I mean, I agree.
Why? That money's you can turn that extra money into more money.
Right.
You can invest it in another vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could buy Bitcoin with it.
Right. Oh, how do you feel about Bitcoin?
I love it.
That. Okay, tell me more about that.
I just like doing it. I have the Coinbase app on my phone.
Okay, so you have the Coinbase app. I'm very ignorant to it.
Something
so tell
fun
me.
To do.
So it's Coinbase app, right? And then what do you use it that there's different kinds. There's like Dogcoin, there's Bitcoin, there's
Dogecoin, there's Bitcoin.
Dogecoin. Yeah. So like tell me, how does that even work?
So what I like to do is I like to find the trending coins, and if it's got a trend over the last, like 10 to 12 weeks, it's going to go up. Or it's going to go down. So I just like to see what's trending and what people are buying.
So you put your real money, your real cash. So you put 1,000, say, in it. You buy 1,000.
No, do like $100.
Oh, say I don't. Okay, 100, yeah. And then you're hoping, obviously, that it goes up.
Yeah, if it's a 25-cent coin, you can buy $100 worth of the 25-cent coin. You have 250 shares, and then if it goes up to 50 cents, you just doubled your money.
Okay, and then do you constantly keep it in, or do you take it out?
I've done both. I try not to look at it as much as I used to. So I just checked it yesterday for the first time in 2 months, and I'm up 100%.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's not a lot of money. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I've doubled my money in the last 3 months just because I haven't been looking at it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I'll try to move it and take it out or put something somewhere else.
Yeah.
I just try to watch the trends. That's all.
That's cool. So watch the trends. So
I just think Bitcoin. I think in the future, the cryptocurrency, it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be. Other than the Canadian, US, Mexico dollar or South American dollar or whatever they're trying to do, I think they're trying to create this one coin. I don't know.
You like this universal coin?
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think that there's a big push for like the universal currency.
Yeah.
I just think there is. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like they're definitely pushing the whole narrative with the whole whatever currency online stuff because they can monitor it more. It's easier because everything is online, right?
Yep.
Cash. That's why they say cash is king, right?
Well, you see what they're doing in England. They're going to take anything over $1,000 is going to be monitored. They could freeze your bank account if you pay for anything over $1,000 in cash.
Are you serious?
Yeah, look it up. Look it up.
That's insane.
It's coming down the pipeline. Yeah. And again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a parrot. I just read what I read and I see what I see. And then
it's not that you're, but this is crazy. We're living in these weird times.
It is weird times.
It's very weird times. It's like crazy. It's.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to ask you a question. I was here all weekend. I was at Encore.
Oh, did you see me?
I saw you post on Encore, but I was there Friday and Sunday.
Shout out to my boy Antoine Walker. He was doing a what do you call it, an appearance for the Celtics. So let me tell you something, okay?
We went and saw Pauly D Friday night.
Oh, did you?
At Memoir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Kerry's birthday month.
Let me tell you, Saturday night, I agreed because
So you were there Saturday?
I went there Saturday, right? And I went to the casino and whatever. And You
like that place?
No, I think Encore is trash.
Okay. I think it's too tiny for me.
It's too tiny, and I just feel like, you know what it is? I can't get over that, we're in Everett. And I can't get over that, I just see mud all around it. Yeah. I can't get over, that's why I said it's trash. And then I can't get over,
I love the room.
Yeah, the hotel rooms are gorgeous, honey.
Second best room I've ever stayed in my life.
Hotel rooms are gorgeous. Wow. You can, when you enter, you're like, yes.
You open the door, the curtains go up.
Yeah. Beautiful. But the prostitution in there, too, is insane.
Really?
You don't see because you don't see it?
No.
I love that you're so ignorant.
I'm in the club. What are you talking about? I'm in the balcony in VIP looking at Pauly D on Friday night till 3 a.m.
Let me tell you, so I'm at the tables, the dice, I'm shooting dice, and this girl, I think she knew who I was with, and she comes behind me, and she's like,
Who were you with?
I told you, Antoine Walker.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Yeah. So
So you're with him, like, at the table?
Yes.
Okay.
So I've known him for 20-something years.
Okay.
We're tight like this, right?
Okay.
So anyway, and like that's family, like we're tight like that,
I heard he likes
right?
to gamble.
Anyway, so
Years ago.
Anyway, allegedly. Anyway, this chick comes behind me and she's like, "Oh, you're so sexy." She's like, "You and your man." She's like, "She'll come spend some time with me," right? And I go, "You need to get up off me." I'm
Did
like,
she know who
I think
you
she
were with?
did, yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, "You need to get up off me." And I looked at her, I said, "Honey, no." I'm like, "You need to retire."
Really? She wasn't that great?
No, you're going to be a prostitute and
Okay,
you're going
all
to do your thing, honey. You better be a whole 10.
Right,
Get
right.
away from me with
And
that.
she wasn't.
And it's the way she approached me, though, like,
What time of day are we talking?
this was like 12 at night.
Okay, so early. Kind of early.
Yeah, this wasn't like,
Right, yeah. It wasn't like 2:30, the club's getting
And
out.
I grew up around in the streets. I seen some things, okay?
She was there Saturday.
And so I peep, and I'm like, you just see. Once you know once you know what they look like, they're everywhere, and I'm like, oh, these.
I can tell you, I didn't notice any Friday night. I didn't.
But were you in the casinos? If you're not
Friday
in the
night.
casinos, you don't see them. They're
No,
not going to
we
be
were-
hanging out because
We
remember,
were a memoir.
but you see them. This is what they do. They're lurking. They're watching the tables.
Really?
Then they walk up to you. They're like, "Oh, what's up, sexy?"
Really?
They do their little things, and I'm like, "Sis, not today. I ain't a sugar mama on you."
Yeah,
now.
we're on the floor during the day. We like to be in the club at night.
Yeah.
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 So I didn't see it.
Yeah. So it's just
So that was only our third time there.
No, so again, I love the hotel rooms. They're beautiful, but I can't, and that's another thing. I actually wrote it on Facebook. Like, I can't even fathom spending. Like, I have a plug, I have a connection. You got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna spend $600 or $500 a room to be in Everett.
Right. To be in Everett. But those rooms are dope, though.
Of course, they're amazing.
So nice.
They're so beautiful, but still, I can't get over the Everett. Where are you going? To Everett?
I know.
Can't get over it. I can't do it. Like, now someone else want to spend the money and have me be there, but
You're fine with that.
But like me spending my money on that hotel room
Right.
and knowing that I'm in Everett, I can't do it. No matter how
Can't get your head
beautiful
around
the
it.
room. No, I'm not. You can't
Right.
even. You can't.
Did you
even,
stay, though?
No, I went to the room and I hung
Oh,
out, but
all
I
right,
didn't
all right.
stay.
Okay.
But
Because
like
I noticed the pictures on the wall. They're
on
all
the
the
beautiful
comics.
the comics.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm just like, I just can't. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I'm like, oh, we're in Everett. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like mind blowing to me. So yeah, that's good. So tell me, you guys do.
I took their water, though. I still got their water. I had it in the car still.
Man, Encore ain't paying me. Put that away.
Free waters.
You know what I mean? Encore ain't paying.
Mm-hmm.
What was I gonna say to you too, though? You guys sponsor and do a lot of events,
Oh, a lot
right?
of events, yeah. Yeah. Well, we just had one at Encore at Mystique. We had 2 there. Do we have 2 there? How many Encore events do we have?
but
One?
do you do a lot of also too for like you said
We do them everywhere.
open houses, right? As well?
No, I used to years ago, but I think I don't want to sound like I'm too cool for school, but at this point in my career, I just don't do them anymore.
Yeah, I get it.
I don't do them anymore. So I think I've reached a point where I think we've built such a great network of referral sources that I don't have to on Saturday and Sundays. That's a big part of being a real estate agent. You got to work on the weekends.
On the weekends, yeah.
And I'm at a point in my life where, I don't have to do the weekends. I would. I'm not above it. I just haven't done it in quite a few years.
Well, I'm only asking because since you do events, honey, how can we get Sinclair to do with my coffee?
Yeah, we have one coming up, I think, at the marathon. We're coming up again.
Yeah, when?
The Marathon Monday.
Oh, in April.
Yeah, that's coming up.
Oh my God, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah. We're
that.
gonna do that, and then but moving forward.
So I have another one. I'm meeting one of my friends that owns a restaurant on Thursday. So we're going to talk to him about having an event on April. I think it's 4th. April 4th, I think it's coming up.
Well, keep me in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we have 150 people on our list that we're going to try
and
to
if they
invite.
want espresso martinis too, honey.
Yeah. Yeah, we can set you up at a little corner.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah, so we do a lot of that. We do a lot of events, and we try to just bring people together. I always say, I do a lot of networking. I go to a lot of events. If you can just meet one person at each event, if I go to 4 events a month, if you can meet that one person that's going to send business for life, it's worth every minute of going to one of these events or sponsoring these events or going to an event or just being a guest. So I'm glad
that you talked about networking, right? So let me ask you a couple of things. One, how does, I always tell people this, right? And especially I'm going to say, be honest with you guys, I'm from around the way, I'm from Lynn, whatever. And I just, and some people from Boston, just some people from certain areas, they never leave their area. So they don't know any better, right? They don't know, and they're wondering, right? And I always tell people, like, if you want money, you got to go out in the world and get it. The world's not coming to you, right? Same as dating. Single women be like, I can't find a man. Honey, you in the house all day. Go get it, right?
Yeah, you got to go expand.
You got to go expand, right? So how does someone go and network, right? Like and then what do you suggest when networking? Like what is a good dialogue to have when you're networking? So say we just met. And I'm asking you this question for a reason. What's your opening like in networking?
I always say, what can I do to help you get business? What can I do to help you get business?
Okay.
That's it. That's the number one icebreaker. You're going to ask me how to get business for me? People love that. Like, what can I do to help you get business?
Wow. Okay.
That's it. Just ask them that and say, you can take me to a networking event. You can you can share my stories. There's a multitude of things you can do to help someone get business. If it's brand recognition, if it's, out of sight, out of mind, you put, you're back in mind and back in sight with some things like social media or, like I said, networking events. Let me ask you just ask somebody, how can I help you get business? And they'll tell you. Tell you.
But say, is one of the good platforms to use to network is join groups on social media so they know where events are going to be at? What do you think? I just think
joining the groups gets you so inundated with the minutia and nonsense of just people going on there just to vent. I think a lot of that, I'm trying to stay positive and productive. So if you're going to join a group, make sure it's a good one. It's something that you're going to participate in a lot.
But because I think a lot of them don't even know how to network.
Oh yeah, you can go right on social media. You go on Facebook. They have millions of networking groups.
Okay.
Millions of them. Or you can just go on and say networking meetings in my area over the next 7 days. You can scroll right through it.
Okay.
Yeah, within 20 miles. You can narrow that down. You can narrow down all of the meetings and groups and events and functions within your area, specifically local. Or you can go beyond, like you said, expand.
Okay, and then this is another thing. And I asked you about having that dialogue. How do you, and I'm glad that you said that. For me, I hate when I go to events, I can't stand, and I said this before, I think my DJ Finesse. I hate within the first 3 minutes, hi, and what do? You
don't even ask them that.
I hate that.
Yeah.
I always tell them I'm a maid.
Why?
Just because they don't know what to say. They're like, I'm a maid. I'm like the person I work for asked me to come for an opportunity, and they're like, I really try to hear me because what if I tell you?
You end up cleaning anybody's house out? You end up cleaning anybody's houses?
They don't even know what to say, right? Because some of the networking is so and so that's another thing. So networking tip 101, guys. Like he said, ask them. Like first of all, just be normal. Hi, how are you doing? What's your name? Right, but don't say what's your name and what do you do. A lot of times I'll say where you from. Because there's so many name games you can play because they break the ice. Oh, you're from Randolph? Oh, I grew up in Randolph. Right. Do you know so-and-so? Oh, no, he's a little older than me. Oh, but you remember Zach's Pizza? Yeah. Yeah, then you have that. You've broken the ice now. And then what can I do to help you get business? Yeah, because I feel like that's a huge thing for a lot of people. There's a lot of people don't know. And I always emphasize like your social capital is so... It means a lot. Like you said, that one person or just knowing that, like if you just have 3 people of power, knowledge, and just, I don't know, and I guess like even financial, just 3 really close friends, you're never going to go broke. Right. Because they're going to put you in a position because they have the power. Yep. They have the finance and maybe to help you, right? And the network. And then the network. So I always say power, network, and finance. Find yourself 3, whether it's mentors, whether it's 3 friends, but this is what your network should consume of. And you know what I always say to my kids too? I've said it a million times. It's not always what you know, it's who you know. All the time. I wouldn't be sitting here if it wasn't for who I knew. Right. At all, ever. Really? Ever. I've gotten a nudge throughout life from everybody that I've ever known to get me into the position where I am. Now, let me ask you this. Did you graduate from college? No. See? And I love that.
No.
And I'm not saying that.
I did go, but I did not graduate.
I mean, neither. I dropped out my junior year. So I'm not saying that higher learning or education is not important, because it really is. But
if you have the means, do it.
Right.
But Elon Musk, I think, said it best. He said, if you want to party, go to college. If you want to learn something, go to YouTube.
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah.
YouTube University is free.
It is. I say that all the time, YouTube University.
You know? But it's not always going to get you through life that you need to. But if you ever really wanted to know something in a pinch, that's the way to go.
But again, back to, okay, so you go to YouTube University, you learn all these things. Then what do you do with your knowledge?
You have to apply
You have to apply, meaning you have to network.
Yep.
You have to actually meet real people that can help you with the skills of the things that you just learned. So I don't know, if your thing was pottery you learned online, okay, well, you need people to buy your pottery, you know? So that's a big thing too, is like, I really try to tell people, like, network. And so that's great. So that's one thing that Sync Law does, is you network. So what if people...
One of my good friends, real quick, Troy Robinson, he's a very, very successful flipper. But he also acquires and retains. So he'll turn them into Airbnbs.
How do you feel about the Airbnb? I'm glad you talked about that.
It's a great source of income. I mean, it's top dollar. It's a lot of work. You know, you've got to have maybe a property manager. You have to have a cleaning service. You have to have locks. You have to have, you know, a property that you can put things away if you're actually going to use it too. Just a lot into it. But my friend Troy Robinson, he said when he flipped his first house in 2018, which is only 6 years ago, and he learned everything he needed to know about flipping in 90 days on YouTube. Wow. And he said, I watched 15 different videos. I pulled from what I liked. I put aside things that didn't make sense to me. You know, you can just wean out what you think you need to know from all of the, he goes, just do the research. If you want to learn how to flip a house, look at 25 different channels of people that are doing it, and take what you need from each one of those and create something on your own. And he flips houses for a living now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
His wife's a real estate agent, and they do very well.
So let me ask you this.
Oh, they go to auctions too. That's another quick little free tip.
Okay, yeah. So
instead of
they have car auctions. So tell us about house auctions. What is that about?
You go to auction.com, or you go to the newspaper in your local area, and you can just show up on a Saturday morning with a bank check, certified bank check. Sometimes they're $5,000, sometimes they're $10,000. But I have friends that drive around with a $5,000 bank check in their glove compartment all the time, because they never know when they're going to pull off the road and go into an auction and win it.
No way.
But then sometimes what they'll do, they flip that. They flip the paper. They're wholesaling.
Oh yeah, they wholesale the paper. Okay, and let me ask you this though: how does even a house get an auction? How does that even happen?
The bank forecloses on the property, and then they have an auction date. Yeah, you can't get into the property to see what the condition is, but you know, based on your own research and other values of homes in the area, if what you can turn it into that looks like some of the nicer homes.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are distressed. Not all of them. But yeah, it's another way to find.
So the bank
to flip.
is auctioning these houses off at a very low price.
Not always. No, they usually want to get back what they're owed plus 10%. So
if they're owed like $200,000 on the mortgage, you're gonna sell it for like $230,000.
220, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but it might be worth 500.
Right.
But then if people know it's worth 500, that auction's going to go from 220 to 280 to 325.
Exactly.
Because some of these developers, they do enough research and they're savvy enough, or they've done enough projects where their margin for profit is going to be a lot less than other people, because they can do it themselves. They're more experienced. You know, they know how to get in there with an experienced crew. So their cost might be less to flip it than someone like a novice. Like if I went in there, you know, I'm like, I don't know, the landscaping's $5,000, the driveway's $10,000. I don't know. You know, so you just got to do your research.
So what is to the people out there, in like just for opportunities, how does someone get into your business, Sync Law? How do they become a lender? How do they become a mortgage? There's so many. So name us the
loan officer.
Loan officer for real estate. Yeah.
Yeah. Wholesaler.
Yep.
Who's selling the paper.
Yeah.
And just the middleman from the guy that's going to be the end owner.
So these are different entities, you guys, in the real estate market that you can be involved in. Go ahead.
Real estate agent, loan officer,
wholesale,
and wholesaler.
Wait, what else is?
No, I mean, you could be a lender. I mean, that's a whole other different animal. You're going to lend your own money. You could be a hard money lender. You know, you could get.
Now, do you need degrees in any of these things?
Nope.
Okay, so does the sync
There are
law?
licenses that are required, though. You have to have a real estate license
Okay.
or a loan officer license, an originator license. Some banks, if you work for a bank, you don't need the license because you're operating under their license.
Okay.
But if you're a mortgage broker, which is like someone that has multiple banks they can send a deal to,
Right.
you have to have an individual license to do that. So
Okay.
you can price out someone like me that went to a loan officer and he says, oh, I can shop this out to 6 places and get you the best deal that I can get. Other than going into like Citizens and the guy that sits there or the woman that sits there is just the employee of the bank. They're on a salary. They don't really need the individual license to operate as an originator or a loan officer. And then they only have their products though.
So,
So real estate agent, loan officer.
Are you guys hiring?
Right now we're not. We went through a growth spurt.
How about in Rhode Island office?
So we're not going to have a brick and mortar in there, but we're going to be licensed down there because now
Okay.
because now it's an attorney state.
Okay.
But we have 3 offices in Mass. We have Marina Bay, Mansfield, and Braintree up in Braintree Hill Office Park.
What's the easiest way for someone to get into the industry of real estate? Is it through loan? Is it through
I guess it depends on
wholesale
what you really want to do as a passion. I mean, do you want to hustle and be a wholesaler and find deals and make a lot of money in a short amount of time? But the hustle it's real. You know, you got to find the properties and you have to create a network of people, investors that want the property to flip. You're just
Right.
the middle person at that point. But if you want to be a real estate agent, you got to go through the licensing and you got to go through the courses. You have to take the continuing education courses every single year. And, you know, work weekends, work nights.
Work nights.
I always say I'm 24/7. I don't care. I mean, if I'm not in the middle of something really important, I'll answer your call. You know, I always pride myself on that. It's the reason why we're so high rated on Google and most reviews in the state. But
I was just
but
reading-
loan officers also work on weekends.
I
They
was-
pair up with real estate agents. They do open houses. Loan officers are, you know, a
I'm
lot of different
glad
hours
that
too.
you said that because it's like this new trend where people are trying to be cool and like they put their phones on do not disturb or they don't answer, right? And they said, I was reading a thing that successful people answer the phone immediately because they're constantly thinking that could be money.
When
And
I
I'm
do
glad that you said that because there's like this new trend where like people think they're too cool to talk to you.
Whenever we do a real estate seminar, I always say, I'm not the guy that's going to tell you, and I talk at a lot of them.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that's going to tell you to put your phone on silent because there's money on the other end of that phone.
Right.
If it rings, just get up, go get the call, close the deal, come back. It doesn't bother me because I'm the same way. I shut it off tonight because, you know, it's after hours or whatever, but I pride myself on trying not to let anybody get my voicemail, you know, and I know
Wow.
Carrie will talk to me to speak about that, but I always say,
Oh, by the way, wifey's here.
Yeah, so if I call a client that's been calling me, if I got 3 calls from a developer today, and then I called him back twice, I got his voicemail twice, and then I got a text response saying he was on silent. I said, I answered your phone 4 times when you needed me today, and I called you twice.
That's so irritating when they do that.
But I mean, it's a part of the business. It's just a part of the business.
It's so irritating because I'm like, listen, it not only that, it just makes the other person feel like they're not important. And to me, like, you know, it's just, no, like, it's just, I don't like this new weird trend where people think that they're like more important than, it's like bizarre to me.
Yeah,
okay, but let me ask you this. What about, I want to get into flipping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't there classes that you can take to become a developer or so I heard because I
Well, you
got approached.
you don't have to be a general contractor. Is that what you're thinking of?
Wait. I got approached by a company asking me if I would take classes as a woman because then I can get contracts for them to to develop.
Okay, I'm not aware.
Yeah, so like there's so you're not aware. So
No.
so developers have to have a certain amount of minority in order to they bid for jobs.
Oh, okay.
So bidding for jobs, but there's such a thing for women developers as well because it's like a small thing. So do you
bidding for construction jobs?
Yes, construction jobs.
Okay.
So do you know about that?
No, that's a different part of the business that I'm not. I don't get involved with that.
Okay.
Oh, we don't. Our law firm wouldn't be involved in a transaction like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
but if you wanted to become a flipper, you don't actually have to have a general contractor's license. You have to find the deal. Then you find the contractor to do the work.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so you can find the deal and then keep the deal. You don't have to sell it. You don't have to wholesale it. And you can hire the contractor because the hard money lenders, what they'll do is they'll give you 100% of the construction. So you have to put 20% down, but they'll give you 100% of the construction costs to flip the home, up to 70% of the value after you sell it, after it's done. So it's a lot of money. So if you buy a house for $300,000, you're going to sell it for $700,000. They will give you 70% of $700,000 for the construction.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that's how that. But it's short-term financing. It's interest only. The rates have never changed since 2009. The rates have been 3 points, 13%, 2 points, 12%, and a point is 1% of the loan amount. So if it's $400,000, it's 2 points. It's going to cost you $8,000 to the lender. And you're going to put 20% down, which is $80,000. But they'll give you 100% of the construction. They give you the roof, windows, walls, paint.
Wow.
Everything. They give you 100% of the construction, up to 70% of what it's going to be worth after. So on $1 million sale, they're going to give you $700,000. If you bought it, if you bought it for $300,000 and you need $400,000 to bill it, they give you $400,000. You can sell it for $1 million.
That's crazy.
They get their money back and you keep the profit.
That's a great hustle. Okay.
It's a big hustle.
So let me ask you this.
But that's thinking outside the box when the business is slow.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of housing. There's not a lot of houses for sale. We have real estate agents dropping out of the business. Well, part of what keeps us going in St. Law is the construction, the flippers, the hard money, the developers, the wholesalers.
The wholesalers.
Yeah. So that is a part of the business. Not a lot of other law firms do, or they don't want to do.
They don't want to do it. Okay, let me ask you this, because you said that your wifey's here and all that. How do you balance being a father, doing all you do? You're always available. How is it? And don't you work with your wife?
She does a lot of, she actually does.
How is that? Because me, I'm like, honey, you spent 3 hours with me, you gotta go. You snore, that's it, we're done. Right.
No, we have a good balance. We have a good time together. We've been married 23 years. 23 years in June. 23 years in June. But we were together for 4 years before that, so we're going on almost 30 years. But we enjoy each other's company. She does a lot of work for the hard money lenders. She does the docs for them.
Wow. So what's it like to even work with your wife?
It's not easy because she says, "Don't talk to me like I'm one of your employees. Don't talk to me like that. I'm not in your office." No, so
she's letting you know I'm the boss at home and here.
Right. No, we get. I mean, I have a lot of. I have a high standard, I think, when it comes to. I think what I know that other people should know and they don't know. So I come across sometimes as
arrogant.
Not really arrogant. I just feel like
Why are you saying yes?
No. One of my biggest things is don't ask me a question Google knows the answer to.
I'm kind of like that too.
Like sometimes in the office, someone has said a couple of years ago, they said, "Hey, do you know the number for the town hall in Marshfield?" I said, "No, why?" They said, "Well, you live there, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, but why would I know
what's
that number?"
In my back pocket?
Don't ask me. Google. It would take you quicker to check Google for the number than to call me, email me, or text me something like that. So don't ask me something Google knows, But we get along great.
Okay, you get along great. But what I'm saying is, how do you balance? What's your advice to say? Like you said, you're constantly available. You're on your phone. How do you balance? And your father, how are you like?
It's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, there's no
what
formula.
What would your daughter say about you?
Oh, they say I lose it a lot. I'm just trying to be honest. I lose it a lot. I lose it a lot. I snap a lot when I'm on the phone. Like if I'm working from home and I hear some commotion in the other room, I'll run in the other room, and they know I'm on the phone. I do snapping a lot, or I'll go. I'll do. But so it's a very stressful business. It can be. Any business is stressful.
Of course.
But depending on who you surround yourself with and how you can deal with adversity and how to overcome it is important. But it's just a balance. I mean, every day is different.
So it sounds like you have to have a wife who's very understanding of what you do.
Oh my God, yeah.
So she's the saint.
But she's seen it, through the ups and downs. And I remember we were on Easter Sunday one time. We were out to dinner with my whole side of the family, and I think some of her family was there too. But when I was in the wholesale business for a subprime lender.
Oh, so you were in the wholesale business as well?
Not the kind that we were talking about.
Oh, okay.
I was working for a bank, and I was trying to get loan offers to send our bank their deals.
Oh, okay.
To fund, which is it's not. It's still a big business. Like UWM is a big wholesaler, probably the biggest in the country. But like is a lender for wholesale reps. But I remember I had my bank sheets, at the table at Easter
Sunday
at a restaurant. Because if the phone rang, I was getting it because I would always have my rate sheets in my pocket.
Oh my
always,
God.
And I would pull it out, and I'll never forget that. And that was a part of my career where I was like, maybe I'm working too hard. Maybe I should step back a little bit, but it just never really happened. But you got to try to. I don't know how to do it. Drink a lot. Drink a lot. Now that marijuana is legal in Massachusetts, you can do some of that.
Pop some gummies.
Oh, what up? Yeah, no, I've never had one.
You haven't?
No, never had one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've taken some gummies, especially.
I'm not against it at all, but I just...
I can't smoke because I have asthma. So, like, I'm like, ugh.
Oh, God.
But I'll take some gummies, especially because I have, like, a bad neck and stuff, or I told you my situation. So sometimes medically, my body hurts. So I just need to take some, like, gummies. And it does, But the only thing about it is, like, I can't enjoy my high because it makes me sleepy. So I'm like,
right.
I feel it. And then I'm like, so it's,
I think we spend a lot of time together, too. So I think that helps because I think that I think in business life, if it affects your home life and you're not spending enough time together, that can create separation and I don't know, maybe anxiety or I don't know, just loneliness. But whatever, that's not the right word I'm looking for. But I'm just saying, like, I think spending a lot of time being a friend.
Because you guys have connection and you guys can have conversation about the same type of things.
And I've been in this business so long that she's been a part of it. She does the graphic design part of it. She's helped clients. She's introduced me to clients. I've introduced her to clients. So our relationship in the business world and in the personal world is intertwined enough where we like spending time together.
Let me ask you this, and I'm glad that you're saying that because I think you
gotta be friends with somebody and you have to have this. You know what I always say too? What's the secret of marriage? You gotta hate the same things. You don't have to love the same things, but hate the same things. Like, remember that? I said that to that couple in the elevator at the Park Plaza. Yeah. There was a newlywed coming down. She had her bride's dress on, and he had her wedding dress, and he had his tuxedo on. And I said, "Oh, congratulations!" He's like, "How long you guys?" I said, "We've been together 20 years." And he goes, "What's the secret?" I go, "Hate the same things. Hate the same things. Like hate country music together."
I was just gonna say country music.
Right. Like, just pick something you both hate and just love to hate it no matter where you go. Just hate the same things. No, I'm just saying. But hate something together where you can laugh and joke about it and point. Yeah. You don't always have to love the same. Hate the same things.
Hate the same thing. Oh my God.
That's another free advice right there for the day.
Oh my God. I love that gem. Hate the same things. Okay, but let me ask you
this. Were you married?
No.
No, never. Okay.
I've been asked.
Okay.
But I've never been married.
How many times you been asked?
4.
Really?
Yeah.
By the same dude?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm just curious. He might have been persistent.
Listen, once they asked me to marry them, I'm kind of like, whoa, tiny block.
Really? What was the longest relationship you were in before they asked you to marry them? Is that too personal?
Oh, no, not at all.
Like a month?
No. Within how long?
Yeah, like how long after you met the person?
Like 6 months was the...
That's quick.
Yeah, that's quick. He's like, the moment I met you, I knew. I'm like, you're scaring me. Block.
Really? Really? Block. How is it dating in this environment, in this world right now?
Honestly, for me, I always tell people, like, I hate dating. And, obviously, like, I'm literally so gangsta on my any man DMs me, I'm like, www.via's world or www.via coffee. Like,
just go there if you want.
I go, listen, I'm not here to date you. Like, that's not going to be our love story. We're not going to walk down the aisle and be like, we met on Facebook, honey. Right. No, that's not or Instagram, whatever. To me, it's like, if you know me, you know me, or I rather meet, like, say you like, hey, I know somebody, something like that.
A friend of a friend, or a personal connection.
I've never, and I won't. I'm not against it, but I will never do online dating. That's so weird to me. Yeah. And thank God I still got the juice. I can still go out and someone will still hit on me. Right. But as far as you say how dating is, it's just weird because like I feel like too, you have to understand too, and we grew up in the era where there was, I hate to say it, the crack era or just whatever. We have a lot of fucked up adults who are still kids, right? Inside, like they haven't healed, right? Or they grew up in the rate for single mothers is astronomical. Like I think it's like almost 65 or 70% of people in the United States are raised by single mothers. It's insane right now.
It's a huge number.
That's not how it was when you were growing up, right? So I'm in that weird time where like, so people don't have, and then I'm fucked up. I was adopted. So like I have my own baggage, right? So it's like you're meeting a lot of adults who haven't healed.
Right.
And it's very hard right now. So my whole thing is like, if I'm just not going out to date anybody, like if you meet me or you know me already, then that's kind of more you're in. Like if you know me, then you have a better chance of dating me than just trying to like hit me up. No, we're never gonna meet. You know, it's hard, and especially being a beautiful woman, it's very hard. You have to be very guarded because I feel like being a beautiful woman and your daughters are beautiful, and I tell my daughter this, like. Everybody wants the trophy, but they don't want to know what's inside the trophy. You know, like a lot of people want you around or your energy or your eye candy. So yeah, it's hard, but like I'm just so focused on what I want to do and my mission too in life. And thank God we're in different times where women have more choices too, where we can focus on business, right? I was in Staples last year. I did a coffee tasting. And Staples is very old, in Swampscott, very old money, Jewish, very, you know. And this older woman came up to me and she's like, honey, she's like, I'm so proud this is your coffee company. She's like, we could never own businesses. And like, I was so blown away, you know, that she said that to me. And she's like, and you're brown. She didn't know. She's an older Jewish. She's like, and you're brown. Congratulations. Wow. But like, I was flattered, and you know, I was like, thank you so much. She's like, you're doing us so proud. I'm so proud of you. She's like, I'll buy 5 coffee bags. I'm like, sure. But that's real. Like women today, and I tell my daughter all the time, like even back to the housing. I was telling you, I sent you the link. More women, single women today are buying houses
than single men.
That's like, so.
Why do you think that is? I have a theory.
Tell me your theory.
I think women are smarter and have their shit together more than men, especially in that age bracket of the 24 to 28-year-olds that are buying these houses.
Yeah, amen to that.
Yeah, they just got their shit together.
Well, and more women are getting educated.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that's falling off is like, I don't know what's going on with men. But like, again, you don't have to go to college. You could take a trade. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But I don't know what is happening where men, this is a whole other thing. And I'm glad, like, I'm sure you're a man. So you're going to take care of your family. You're going to provide, secure. Men right now, and this is you asking me about dating, they want to be treated like bitches. Like they want me to wine and dine them, or they want me to like buy them flowers. Like what the fuck is happening here right now? Like if you ever think I'm coming out of my pocket for anything, that's not happening.
Right? No. I heard a woman like a couple of weeks ago. She said, "I loved it in the '60s. They opened doors for me.
This is what I'm saying.
They paid for my dinner.
Yeah.
I could stay home and cook for them all day.
This is what I'm saying.
And they loved it. That was a joke. It was a comedian saying that. But if you think about it, it was so much a better time back then.
If this is nothing when I do go on a date.
This is a struggle right now for women.
When I do go on a date, this is what I do though. I will stand at the door just like this with my hand on my hips. If he does not open that door, and I've had men be like, "What are you doing?" If you gotta ask me what I'm doing, what do you mean? I'm waiting for you to open that door for me. Like, do I gotta train you now too? And that's another thing. They don't even got home training. Like, I have to train you to open. I will literally sit there like this or like this.
Right.
You better open that door for me.
Is there a lot of women nowadays that are asking men out? Do you know, or do you not?
I don't know, because my crew, like...
I just feel like dating right now would be so difficult.
Yeah, I just feel like my crew and the type of women I deal with, like, you know, very alpha type women and beautiful women, like, I feel some type, like... I don't think it would be in their bloodline to even be like, will you date me? Will you go out with me? I think that's more so for women that, like... I don't know, but then, yeah, it could be for that woman who, I don't know, just my clique of friends, I don't think would ever ask me. I would never. Like, never. I would be like, ooh.
Carrie and I joke around all the time. If we ever broke up, we'd just live in separate ends of the house. Because I would never be, dating, it's been so long, I wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awful out here. And like, again, I'm just so like, yeah, it's just, no. I just tell my daughter, but my daughter's been with the same guy for 5 years, and she made a valid point because I feel like she's up here, and I really love him. He's a great guy, but she's like, Mom, she's like, it's scary right now. You don't know if people are sociopaths. She's
Right.
like, I know who he is. And that's true too. Like, there's just so many weirdos right now.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just childhood. There's a lot of adults right now my age in their 30s and 40s who grew up really messed up and they haven't healed.
I think a lot of I think the biggest part of the kids that are my daughter's age, like 17 and going to be 21, they went through the pandemic and they didn't go to school. They couldn't see people. And then for the year after, they couldn't even see what kids looked like.
Yeah.
You couldn't even see what a girl looked like. You just knew what this looked like.
Yeah.
You know, so there was a big, huge social aspect of it that they suffered from because of the pandemic, only homeschooled. And then when they got back, they had to wear a mask. So I think they're suffering or haven't recovered yet from that meeting somebody and actual touching and social interaction and, you know, and like being near somebody. So our daughter she just started dating, but dating to them over the pandemic was Snapchat.
Yeah, that's another weird thing.
Instagram.
Yeah.
You've never been out with this person? You've never held their hand? No, but we're dating. How is that possible?
Yeah, online.
That's like, it's back to AOL.
Yeah.
You're in a chat room now? You've been
MySpace.
1999 in MySpace? That's what you're doing?
Yeah.
But so it went full cycle because of the pandemic. And then, so she just recently dating a boy, but she's seen him twice. Right? She went over his house. He's a hockey player, just moved from another school. So he's the new kid. So he's getting extra attention. And so she went over his house for the first time last week. And she's 17. She's never had a boy interest before. A couple of her friends are starting to do that. But I think they're getting such a late start. Not that I'm condoning early dating.
It's not.
I'm just saying crushes.
I'll tell you
at
why.
14, 15, 16, you got a crush. You want to talk to the girl, pass her a note. They couldn't do that.
But you know why? They're also too, and I was reading a statistic too that boys right now are losing their testosterone so much due to, one, they're always playing video games, and two, on porn. So they don't even need a girl anymore because they're getting what they need to do just online. So these 14, 15, when they start having these feelings or whatever, they're getting all their instant gratification through online. And it's really sad because think how when we grew up, like I remember my high school boyfriends were on the payphone outside talking to me for hours, putting quarters in.
Yep.
Like, so I'm like, honey, if you ain't putting in that work for me, I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
Like, I literally have boys who were like, it's freezing and they're shivering, putting
anybody got
quarters.
time?
Yeah, and you're putting quarters in. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but the boys right now, they're so uninterested between of all the video games and all like the stuff that they can see. And then it's sad too. Snapchat's scary world. Like a lot of these girls are just showing it off for free.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, so that's like a whole other situation.
You know what? It's funny you brought that up. A lot of guys my age that I hang out with on a regular basis, low T is part of the conversation now. Low testosterone, low T. They call it low T.
Low T.
Low T. Hey, did you get checked for low T? And I'm like, no, I don't think I have a problem. And I asked Carrie, I'm like, do I? She goes, no, I don't think you have a problem at all. And I'm like, all right, well, all my boys, all my friends, not all, I'm going to say half my friends, a low T. Yeah, you gotta. We meet on Wednesdays and we hang out and like 10, 12 guys every Wednesday for like 3 hours, and they're all low T. They're all like, oh, I'm getting a shot now. I'm taking the pill. I'm doing the vitamins. I'm going to GNC and I'm getting the low T, supplements. They're all about low T right now.
Yeah, but
and I'm like, what?
You're fit. One, I can tell you work out, or maybe you don't.
No, I walk around a lot on the phone
walk
a
around,
lot.
okay. But the thing is low T testosterone has to do a lot with one
inactivity,
what you eat, diet, exercise, but also masturbation, porn. And a lot of guys don't want to admit that that's what they're doing, and it's really sad because it's creating this weird dynamic at home. Like there's nothing wrong with once in a while, but I just had a conversation. I had my boy Dwayne here because he's a personal trainer in men's health.
I saw it.
Yeah, and he talks about testosterone. He talks about like the more you masturbate, the lower your testosterone is going to be because you're just
releasing too much.
But there's no exchange. There's no love from a woman. No afterwards. It's just that's it. You keep releasing. So.
There's no human connection.
There's no human connection, but that's what's happening with these young teenage boys too.
Crazy.
It's crazy times we're living in. Okay, so what do you suggest for anybody out there? Because like I'm so happy that you came on the show.
I'm glad to be here, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then what do you suggest for anybody how do they get involved in the industry? So you're saying YouTube, university, or just like, how do they even get a job? Like, do they just take real estate classes, or like, what do they do?
It depends on what avenue you want to take and what path you want to get down in the real estate world. Do you want to work for a law firm? Do you want to work for a real estate agency? Do you want to be an agent, or do you want to be the one that owns the real estate agency? That's the broker. Do you want to do that? Do you want to be a loan officer? Do you want to work for a bank? Do you want to work for, a private loan officer, private lender?
So figure out what you want to do.
Figure out what you want to do.
Research on that, and then
Research
go
on
100% in that.
Yep.
And then 2, for a first-time buyer,
I feel 2 or 3 calls a month like that. Like, hey, I want to get in the business. What should I do?
Oh,
I'm
really?
Like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, what do you want to do?
So he's available, you guys, for consulting on what you're trying to do first.
Yeah.
Then 2, I don't know what to do. I want to buy a house. What are the top 5 things I need to do to educate myself on how to buy a house?
Budget.
Credit score?
Credit.
No, what's a credit score, by the way, that needs to, like, what's
680.
What's the worst? 680?
No, 680 is a good score.
What's the worst you can have?
500.
To buy a house?
Oh, to buy a house, probably 620.
620. Okay.
There's some programs that go down to 580.
Okay.
But the interest rate, because it's a higher risk,
Yep.
the interest rate might be affected by that. It'll be a little bit higher.
Okay.
And the down payment would be affected by that because it's more of a risk
Okay.
for the bank.
So
I would say like 580 would probably be the minimum.
So the better your credit,
The better the rate.
the better the rate.
The lower the down payment.
And the lower the down payment.
You got
Okay,
it.
so that's then the first buyer program, that's something they should do?
First time home buyer seminars, I would sign up for some of those.
Yeah.
Yep, they're free. They're everywhere. They're in every town has one, more than one. I mean, there's so many real estate agents and loan officers that are having these programs. Sync Law has first time home buyer seminars. I would just keep an eye out for those because it'll tell you, you got a budget. You got to keep an eye on your credit. You don't make any big purchases.
Wait, and then what about
Don't have any unexplained large deposits because the bank's going to want to know where it came from.
your job, and you have
Job
to prove,
security.
proof
Yep.
of income? Okay.
Proof of income. You'll have to have the same line of work. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be at the same job for 2 years, but you have to be in the same line of work.
Okay.
So if you work for a hospital and then you left the hospital and worked for a new hospital, it's only been, 24 months. But you only at one for 12 and the other one for 12, you're still in the same line of work.
I heard also too, and let me know if this is true. Since I own my own businesses, if I'm applying for a loan, it's better to say I'm an employee of the business opposed to owning it because they're not gonna. How do you think that is?
There are certain programs for self-employed borrowers,
Okay.
which are tax returns and bank statements, where you can provide a profit and loss statement. Because a lot of self-employed people, they show zero income.
Yeah.
Or not enough income
Exactly.
to qualify. So there's bank statement programs that they can go off your deposits because that's real money going in from the business.
Okay.
And then there's also a profit and loss statement that you can provide that shows all the money coming in and all the money going out.
But would you suggest if you own your own business to say instead of going out for bank loans or whatever that you are an employee of your business?
You could do that as well if you opened up a corporation and be the employee, and then you could get your checks from the company and get W-2'd.
Okay.
But I would always just say if you are self-employed, make sure you have enough deposits that can justify a mortgage payment.
Okay,
something that
perfect.
can be verified.
Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Make
All
sure
right,
you guys
appreciate it.
subscribe to Via Talk on Apple, on YouTube, and Spotify. And make sure if you want to know anything about loans, mortgages, real estate, hit up Paul. And he's always
Synclaw.com.
available. Yeah, Synclaw.
SINC.com.
Nice. Thank you.
Oh, Sync Law, SINCLAW.com.
Wait, and your tagline.
Oh, live life long. Trademarked. There you go.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.